Hello, investors, and welcome back to Just Renting Stocks. Let's talk about Senseonics and the announcement business update. Was it an update, or did they just tell us more of what we already know? Let's go through this, and I've got a few other things pulled up for you. So, the review of the FDA for the PMA supplement next generation SENS 180-day continuous glucose monitoring system is near completion. This was near completion back in December, so nothing new there. All inquiries raised. I wish I could know just a little bit more detail. Now, this would really be a business update if the leadership team or anyone that's contacted investor relations out there could get an answer as to what those inquiries that were raised were, that they had to give a response by December, have been answered. And the decision regarding approval is expected in the coming weeks. You know why? Because you had all of these inquiries that were raised, and now you had to respond to those, and now they got to go back and review them. So guess what? You go to the back of the line with everything happening with Omicron and COVID. So it's no surprise that this is taking so long. If they could have just gotten this done right the first time, or even the second or third time, there's no telling how many times this has been kicked back. Now, operational and financial updates, that's what this is about. So design plans with the Essentia diabetes care for smooth transition, a 180-day system in the U.S. pending FDA approval. So there's some things that are going to launch off, and this is old news. This has been since last year that this is basically getting punted over to Essentia's diabetes care marketing campaigns to highlight availability of the system upgrade for patients, the payer engagement, reimbursement program, coverage transitions, and the inventory for Q1 of 2022, initiating that transition of the new product in Q2 of 2022. So, how much inventory are they going to be able to still sell of the 90-day system when they're doing this transition and they have approval for the 180-day system? Still a big question there. And you can take a look at the financials to look at the receivables to see how high they are, and they're going to have to put some of this into consignment inventory. That's the strategy, is to pay for it, make sure that it's available, and then get people to buy it or adopt it after it gets implanted there at the physician's office. And this whole consignment inventory, basically they're paying for it up front. They can't collect revenue until it's purchased by this payer system, this new payer engagement reimbursement system. So how many people will qualify for this and how much will have to be paid out of pocket? They've been doing a lot of research and training in this aspect to reiterate their 2021 financial outlook that is supposed to fall in between 12 and 15 million dollars. Now here, I think this is cute. They say, we understand the FDA is at full capacity managing the backlog of COVID-19 related filings. This doesn't tell me anything about what I really want to know about these inquiries that were raised that had to be answered in regard to the decision that they need to be able to make after those inquiries are answered. So I just think that this is just a big runaround, and I think investors are ready to be done with it. And I would say by options plays, a lot of people are expecting the interpretation of the next couple of weeks, January, for this to be approved still. So I'm still bullish on FDA approval, but I'm not here for the games that this company's playing. I think they should still be transparent as to what questions are being asked and how are they responding. Now, they've got this partnership, and there's a lot of people partnered with Sensia, and they've got everyone from data analytics to insulin delivery to CGM. Now, if you click on CGM, Senseonics is the only CGM system that this company is helping to market and get out there, and that's what their job is going to be to do. And once this gets approval, you can see back in August of 2020, there was the partnership comprised of global commercialization and distribution agreement was signed, and a financial agreement. There's some investments that are being made by this company and a partnership. You can see PHC Holdings Corporation, additional further USD $15 million investment will be provided in exchange for Senseonics convertible preferred equity upon FDA approval of the 180-day SenSense product. So there is another catalyst there, and sure to be some catalyst once this does get approved. So I would say you've got that FDA approval. You might have a couple of other investments or news releases that were old. This is all old news that may repeat itself. Now, what I would tell you to do is, if you're just curious, these post-approval studies can provide patients and healthcare professionals, device industry, FDA, and other stakeholders information for continued safety and effectiveness. They have to do these post-approval studies, and most oftentimes they are part of the database and agreement for FDA approval. So the FDA has the authorization to require sponsors to perform post-approval studies at the time of approval of the PMA. So that's that pre-market approval that they're working on right now. And there are two here that have some results, and they've got some additional 3-year report, 4-year report, 5-year report, additional studies, and this was updated on 1/3/22. So the news update comes out on the 4th. They refresh some of these pages on the 3rd. And I will tell you that down here at the bottom of the page for the post-approval process, some of the stuff has got December's date in it. It's got May 14th of 2021, but it has some strengths and weaknesses in here that are interesting. So I just wanted to share a couple of these interim or final data summary points. And some of them are saying that, strong points, weaknesses, but I'll just bring you down here to this last one. And feel free to go in here and read this information if you care to do your own due diligence. This could or could not be related to what is causing the delay. But ultimately, I'm looking for anything I can find that may lead me to believe that this approval is not going to happen. And that's just not the case that I'm finding out. But I did have some people ask during the last video about the strengths and weaknesses. So strengths include promising safety profile and the sponsor's suggestion to provide an enrollment update in December. So an enrollment update meaning not enough people were enrolled. What is the update? Weaknesses include the lack of diversity in the study population, enrollment of additional African American, Asian, Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, and Hispanic subjects will be required to demonstrate that the target population was adequately represented. And then strengths includes sponsor suggestion to provide an enrollment update in December, and then weaknesses, low enrollment thus far. So this could just mean that as part of the overall approval, that after you do get approval, the 90-day system, they have to continue doing these post-approval processes, and they needed to mix some more diverse candidates that, that it looks like the safety profile is strong, but they are having trouble getting further enrollment and more diverse candidates. So there is this information that you can find on the FDA website if you want to dig into this, make any connections, and you can see the application numbers here are provided. So what is happening with this price? We had about a 25 to 30%, may have been a little higher than that, 30% gain based on just, hey, we believe that this information is still going to come out. A resolution, whether approval or denial, is going to come out in the next couple of weeks. Option plays were strong. You can see no matter which date you click on, from January 21st all the way to February 18th. I think February 18th would be the safer play here. I wouldn't want to try and push it to January if I'm doing the option calls. But if this dies down, it goes back down to about $2.65. I think we find support again there. And I will say that, just like I covered in my previous videos, the income statement, incomes are not that life-changing. There isn't anything right now that I'm seeing, and you'll have to pay attention to this next call that they're going to have, the next earnings call, to see what is the adoption of the 180-day system in Europe. And I would expect as they start to expand into some of those new areas that, continents, geographically they plan on expanding, that they start to see more adoption over there. That could be a signal. And I believe it's just a fraction of what we're going to see in the United States. So, of course, This has to be deployed. It will not get deployed in Q1. I don't think that they're going to see any adoption until Q2 of 2022 of the 180-day system. Now, you might be convinced that we've got 90-day systems. They're going to sell plenty of those. I think you're going to see some of these very same numbers in Q1, or Q4 is going to be the next reported time. And as far as the balance sheet is concerned, I just want you to keep an eye on the total receivables. Now, that they're doing the whole consignment inventory, everything they're paying for, and then they can't collect until it is actually collected by the healthcare provider, or their inventory. What's happening with that number? It's twice the amount of what they're actually having in sales. So there's a lot of inventory concerns that I believe there might be some write-offs of the 90-day system as they move into this 180-day system. I believe they're going to have the 180-day system for quite some time. 365 isn't going to happen for a few years. I would say, there could be some really good updates coming out with that, but you see how long it took for them to make it through with the 180-day system. Now, as far as price, analyst ratings, this was at, I think, 76%. I think yesterday it was somewhere at 86%. Potential average price target of meeting that average price of $5, 77% chance here. I think we're still in the big gains area, and this is a 12-month price target. So this is definitely one that is well over 40%. This could change your portfolio for the upside in January. I've got strong conviction on this stock. Now let's take a look at where we sit now. Now with the Fed having everyone having the interpretation and digesting what all was said today with that, you're going to have your macro indicators, but I would stay focused on the micro indicators that are associated with this stock, and that's definitely going to be the approval coming up, and then the next earnings coming up, and the details that they talk about of that, what comes out of that earnings, what numbers are they hitting. You want to see those Europe numbers grow from where they were previous quarter, and that 180-day system is taking off. I would also pay attention to the FDA website I haven't went in and clicked individually on all of those failures to show you how these failure modes and how EverSense is creating basically a new category of failure. So anytime you have to implant something underneath the skin, this is the first time a company's been doing this, and that there could be some new categories for failure modes, or for even people hesitant to adopt this. So it'll be important to continue to monitor that. Now let's take a look at the charts. And if we take a look at the charts, you can see that this had a really good run up, and some people definitely took profits. I would say they were in this one. They had been waiting a while for a run up. This was a sizable news update. They knew it'd be weeks. It did come back to get some support here at $2.84, and then it went up here where it met some resistance around the $3 mark. It didn't hold, hit it a few times. Looks like it really attempted to get past $3, and then the Fed stuff just pretty much took over on most of the markets tickers. This could come back to find support around 265. I would say if you haven't been in this play, you've got time to wait for this one to settle down a little bit. Now, everything was on the sell-off today, but the market in general is pretty high right now. They did have that Santa Claus rally. You may not have seen it in all the stocks. This one, if you go out to the 4-hour chart, I would say you could see that this has definitely been trading sideways. So down here is about where you would want to pick this up. I was saying around the 259 range. 259 was looking like a good pickup. It never hit that range. I do think that it could possibly revisit 265. I don't know that we're going to make it that far down. This is one you definitely want to be in if you're looking for that guaranteed runner with FDA approval. Now, it's only guaranteed to run if it gets FDA approval, but this is one that I want you to keep on your watch list for 2022. Hope this video helped you out. Be sure to give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.